for this god-awful plant because it can seriously mess up your day.
Graf wrote this.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Your weekend, your face, or your man parts.
Yeah. When was the last time you thought about poison ivy?
To tell you the honest truth, I've had poison ivy once in my life.
Yeah.
I know what it looks like, and I try to avoid it.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think about it
No.
much.
You know, do you know the one thing that I try to tell everybody to look out for? Because we've got two issues at our lease that maybe nobody else has. I've got a stand that sits on a creek bed that literally every year I have to replace the hunting chair in it because of flying squirrels. They get in that thing and they will eat everything that was in there.
Really?
If it's an office chair like this, it'll
They'll
look like a skeleton when you get
Really?
back. Yes.
Oh,
And
no.
I tell them, and I can catch them every now and then when I'm in there. And once you catch them, they'll holler for a second, but then
That's what those scars are.
exactly. They'll let you. But I'll say this: the rats also, squirrels, flying squirrels,
Yeah.
regular squirrels. You got to get ahead of that because I'm telling you right now, there is nothing that like before daylight, all of a sudden you feel something moving around by your foot down there and you can't see. You will
That gets
come
your
out
attention.
of that deer stand.
All right, 3 things every deer hunter should do right now. Number 1, get permission from landowner or re-up your lease.
Yeah.
If you hadn't already done so,
Yeah.
you're probably already late.
Yeah,
You haven't
ours is
the
done.
lease. Number 2, practice your shooting. Not enough people probably do that. I don't.
I
I'll
sided-
shoot my crossbow a little bit, but that's about it.
I cite in the gun. One of the things that some people don't do though is check your gun again after the season has started because a gun shoots different in the heat than it does when it's bone chilling cold out there. And everybody sights in their gun, August, September, somewhere along in there, they're getting ready.
Yeah.
And it's 187 degrees in the shade.
Yeah.
And you pull the trigger on that thing 3 or 4 times, and it shoots different than it does that morning when it's 27 and just the perfect morning. So you probably ought to check it again.
I will tell you something about that, too, that it happened to me a few years ago, and I didn't know what it was. And a guy at Academy told me. I pulled down on a nice little deer. He wasn't a big trophy, but he's a nice little deer, and pulled the trigger and it misfired. And I said, man, I don't know what's going on. So I was kind of concerned about it. And I was in Academy, and I told the guy that, and he goes, I can tell you what's exactly wrong. He said, you need to go over and get that right there. And there's this stuff in a can. He goes, when it gets cold, sometimes that oil gets thick, and the firing pin don't move fast enough to make that shell shoot.
No, but
Really?
And he said, if you pull, and I didn't know this, but if you pull the bolt back, all you got to do is pull it back 1/4 of an inch, and it recocks, and you can put it back down and shoot the same bullet, and it'll shoot. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
He said, you don't have to pull it all the way back. Just lift it up, pull it back about 1/4, and it recocks and put it back down. He
so
said,
it resets that pin.
yeah, he said, but keep this stuff in there. Every once in a while on your firing pin, it'll keep the oil from building up.
Real cold days.
Another little
Real
hint
cold
for
days.
you. Another little hint for you. When you get ready to put your gun up in the gun safe, make sure it's unloaded,
Oh, well, yeah.
and then pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
Take the tension
agree with
off
that.
that firing pin
Yeah, I agree.
spring, and that's the only way to store a rifle.
The third and final thing you must do that I can tell just by looking at us 3, we don't do,
Get in shape, physical
Get in shape.
Oh, dude.
The
Yeah,
shape
thank
of
you,
what?
Billy Phipps.
Yeah, and then we eating this big. That's right.
I'm in fishing
but
shape.
how big a shape you got? How
Round
big a shape
is
you
the
got to
shape,
be in
baby.
to sit in a deer stand?
That's a good point. I got a son drag mine out. So
Outdoor Outlaws, we got some. They are next, hooking up and tracking down 11:30 The Tiger.
Want to hear what you missed from today's show? Tune in Saturday morning, 6 a.m. here on 1130 The Tiger for more Hooking Up and Tracking Down. This segment is presented by Bob Seeley's Big Bass Splash Series, Wildwood Resort at Toledo Bend, Bass Cash Bash, and Natchitoches Ford. Your truck headquarters for the Arklatex and home of Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the F-150.
Hey, let me tell you right now, because we just gave you some great information regarding hunting, this is the time of year you better be making regular trips to Paul's Farm and Garden. I priced fertilizer the other day.
Yeah.
Just triple 13. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it last year.
Is it expensive?
Dude, I'm telling you, you might go into sticker shock.
Really?
The best place you're going to find it, though, Paul's Farm and Garden. And one of the more important things to remember here is Paul's not only has ag lime, but you can get the pelletized lime.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you'll get the soil pH increased, most of our soil around the state of Louisiana will run 5.2 to 5.4 along in there because of all the pines and the acidity.
Right.
And if you'll add that lime, it generally takes it about 6 months to change the pH of the soil. But if you'll get that pH increased, you can get by with less fertilizer.
Oh, okay.
And a good ag lime will last years.
Right.
So sometimes that's a really good investment. You probably want to get ahead of that right now. Talk to Paul.
Right.
About getting some ag lime spread out there, something along those lines, just to help you out, because you're talking about a major investment now.
Yeah.
Just to deer hunt. Paul's Farm and Garden, your gardening supply headquarters, fertilizer, pesticides, plant food, anything you'll need to make your garden grow. Don't forget about your food plots, as they carry several different types of product that will help you keep your deer herd healthy. A proud dealer of Purina products, and that includes the protein pellets a lot of guys are feeding right now. And if we do enter into a drought like it's looking like now,
right.
I'm telling you, your deer herd's going to get in a bind. They'll get stressed. You're going to see a lot less of the fawns that make it through the entire cycle of the summer.
Do y'all have a good water supply on your lease?
No,
You don't.
we do not. Now, one of the things that a lot of guys have to remember, I want to say it's either 70 or 80% of the water that a deer gets, it gets from the vegetation that it eats.
Oh, the moisture from
The moisture in those plants. But when you're in a drought situation, guess what? That moisture level decreases
in the plants.
and so your deer herd is then stressed from lack of water. So that's something that you really need to keep in mind. At Paul's Farm and Garden, they'll help you out. North Market in Shreveport.
All right, little outdoor outlaws. We'll start off with a man from Farmerville. Agents arrested a Farmerville man, Vincent Ditta, D-I-T-T-A, 64, for alleged simple battery and harassment of fishermen on June 5th in Union Parish. Agents arrested for simple battery and harassment of the fishermen. Agents received a complaint on May 31st about Ditta throwing gas on 3 people while they were fishing.
Dude, he told him, get out of my brush top.
Dude, gas.
Yeah.
Don't light a match, whatever you do.
No.
Now, agents investigated a complaint and found that the 3 people were legally fishing in front of Ditta's property and dock on Lake Darbone. Ditta confronted the anglers and in an effort to run them off, poured gasoline from a handheld gasoline tank on the men in the water. After getting a positive identification on Ditta from the fishermen, the agents arrested Ditta and booked him in the Union Parish Detention Center. Simple battery brings a $1,000 fine, 6 months in jail. Harassment of people lawfully fishing carries a $100 to $350 fine and up to 60 days in jail.
I am on the group Toledo Bend Fishing, or I think it's on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And somebody was bringing up the fact that a number of property owners around there were trying to run people off from fishing around their docks. Now, I can understand that if you're a dock owner, some of us on occasion make a long cast. Boy, that lead weight dings against the boat. I'm sure that that's irritating.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure also that people are concerned about the safety of their belongings and things like that. People kind of groping around, and there's some shady characters in this world.
No doubt.
But there comes a point where these people were coming out and harassing people for fishing around the dock. That's not your water.
Yeah, that's right.
That dock's in my water.
Right.
And I have just as much a right to fish on that. some of these docks are around Toledo Bend, and somebody, Daryl Gleason might be able to tell us if I'm wrong on this, but they wrote on this Facebook page that some of the docks on Toledo Bend have motion detectors on them, so that if you go up around that dock and start fishing, all of a sudden it will spray water on you like a deluge of water.
Really?
And spray the people all around the dock.
That'd be awesome this time of year, though.
Well, yeah. But imagine it's March.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that wouldn't fly.
No.
And it's 28 degrees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've often wondered, would that not also fall under the harassment of someone legally fishing issue?
I would think so.
And some of these people have got brush tops down on Toledo for
Just
crappie
because
things
you're
of that.
not on the dock to pull the trigger with the water hose don't
Right.
mean that you're not held accountable.
Exactly. So. You put it there just for that.
Exactly.
And some of these people who are down on Toledo Bend that try to run people off of a brush pile or something along those lines.
Right.
The minute you put that brush pile in the water, it ain't yours.
It's mine now.
It belongs to everybody.
Belongs to everybody.
It's the first one to get there. Now, I will say this. If I knew that there was a guide who was making a living trying to fish that brush pile,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it alone.
Oh, sure. Sure.
But if I just happen upon a brush pile with my graph, do you think I'm just going to pass up a school of fish that's in that brush pile?
But, and also, too, me and you know several guys over that fish for crappie.
Sure.
That's why the top's out there. It ain't for the bass.
Right.
So they don't really care if I come in. I'm not fishing for their crappie.
Right.
I'm going for their bass that
Right.
may be in the top.
And
there's a difference.
Yeah.
So
let me give you this one. Agents from Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries cited Cody J. Carpenter of Glencoe and Bailey Rogers, 21, of Youngsville, for taking and or possessing a black bear during a closed season and intentional concealment of wildlife.
Uh-oh.
Agents received a tip that Sharpenter had shot and killed
Charbonnet?
Charbonnet, maybe?
Maybe Charbonnet.
He'd shot and killed a Louisiana black bear November the 12th this past year in St. Mary Parish. He and Rogers then moved the bear from the kill site 6 miles to a field off Highway 83 near Glencoe that night. April 30th, agents required a search warrant for Charpente's residence. Handheld global positioning system, his GPS, and his cell phone. Agents were able to use the cell phone and GPS to track where Charpente was on the night of November 12th. They used the GPS and the cell phone to track his location from the kill site to the location of a black bear skeleton and claws in the mitigation field. What is a mitigation field?
I don't know.
I've heard of those before. I don't know what it. Agents seized Charpente's 7mm rifle in connection with the case, taking or possessing a black bear during a closed season and intentional concealment of wildlife. Each brings a $900 to $950 fine, up to 120 days in jail. The men also face up to $10,000 in civil restitution for the replacement value of the illegally taken bear. Agents still looking for leads for the killing of 2 black bears that were discovered February 14th off Humble Canal, 10 miles south of Franklin. Anyone, if you've got information about these 2 bears, call Louisiana Operation Game Thief Hotline.
Yeah, and, it amazed me that they were able to track all this information based off his cell phone and GPS coordinates.
Well, most, especially the iPhones now.
Yeah,
they've got the Find My Phone, or there's another app on there that you can keep up with your family or where your phone might go when it's. And it's amazing now.
Does it store history though?
Yes.
See, that's what I didn't realize.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, one more story.
Drunk boater jumps out of a boat to drink lake water. Possum Kingdom Lake, a Young County game warden arrested a male subject for Class A boating while intoxicated, his second offense. On the way off the lake, the subject jumped out of the patrol boat as they were approaching the boat ramp. Apparently, the subject was intentionally swallowing lake water in an attempt to disguise his alcohol consumption. The subject was transported to Palo Pinto County Jail, where he blew a .11 BAC, breath alcohol.
Have you seen the commercial with Bill Dance on it, where the guys are all fishing and he's sitting up in the front of the boat?
Yeah.
And the game warden pulls up and says,
just check your license.
He says, nope. He just bailed out.
Yeah, he bails out of the boat. And when Bill Dance goes in, he goes to the bottom, Jack. he ain't floating.
Do we have any more?
Yeah, we got one more.
Okay, one more.
Let me read it. You got it.
I got this. Numerous 911 calls from boaters and persons on the shore of Miller Creek Reservoir reported a racing boat without lights driving erratically on the water lake, or the water late at night. Baylor County. Where's Baylor County?
Somewhere around Waco, I would
Okay.
assume.
Baylor County game wardens located the boat from the shore, observed with binoculars that the boat had no navigational lights and 3 persons were aboard. The boat would start up, drive across the lake at a high rate of speed, and then stop. The activity continued for several hours until the boat approached the boat ramp. The wardens made contact, arrested the operator for boating while intoxicated. The passengers, also intoxicated, were arrested for public intoxication. Okay, this brings up something for me.
All right.
I was with my cousin Ray Moore on Caddo Lake last Saturday, and I'm going to tell you, if you're headed to Caddo this weekend, next weekend, whatever the case might be, and you get anywhere up around the river, there are a lot of just recreational boaters up there right now that have no indication that they have ever passed any kind of a safe boater course. They don't have any ethics. No, they don't care that you're fishing. There are jet skis and things of that nature. And I'm going to tell you that there was a couple of points where I felt a little uneasy.
Yeah.
Felt,
Unsafe.
Unsafe.
Yeah.
And so if you plan to do any fishing up, anywhere from Devil's Elbow all the way up to the 43 Bridge, understand that that's a pretty highly trafficked area.
Yeah.
And those people don't have the same skill set that you have as a bass boat owner.
Right.
And, they'll water ski over your Carolina rig.
Yeah, they don't care.
Well, they don't know. It may be
You
that
think they don't know, they don't care.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. When you see a boat try to pass another boat in the government ditch,
Ain't much room for error there.
the fact that not everybody knows what you know.
There's a couple of shows that I watch on TV. You may watch them as well. Wardens is one of them. Another one's called Lone Star Law.
Yeah, I love the Lone Star Law.
Yeah, I do too. And I watched another one called Wardens. Well, this time of year they show a lot of public lake like sections. How many people are out there doing that? And they don't probably capture a tenth of the number of people that are out actually intoxicated.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of processing for just 1 or 2 people.
You bet.
They can't catch them all.
Just keep that in mind if you're going to be out on the water.
Yeah, just be safe, man.
It's crazy.
Lord, it's crazy.
Hook it up and track it down. 11:30. The Tiger.
Well, it's freezing. The first day of the season. Yeah, when it comes to retrieving, old Duke's on his game.
The Hook It Up and Tracking Down Show thanks you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Nichols Department Stores, Spro Lures, Kamagatsu Hooks, and the CCA of Louisiana, making sure our coast and waterways statewide are protected and preserved for years to come. One more time, here's Gary McCoy, Mike Eccles, and Steve Graff. Actually, no Mike.
No, Mike.
No, Mike. Yeah. You've been here all day, haven't you?
Man, his name's included in the script.
Yeah.
I mentally take it out every time.
I didn't change
and
the
then
script.
the last one of the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
Here's your dial with Samurai Braid. Best times to fish. This weekend is rated as awesome. Friday.
Really?
Yep, Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
Awesome. Great on Sunday even. We will just be on the backside of a full moon this weekend, so all you night fishing guys should hit your favorite lake. There's only a 10% chance of rain all weekend with high temperatures in the upper 90s, lows in the lower 70s. Make sure you wear your sunscreen, guys. Best times mid-afternoon. Friday 1:04 to 4:04 p.m. Sunrise 6:10. Sunset 8:26. Saturday 1:51 to 4:51 p.m. Sunrise 6:10. Sunset 8:26. And on Sunday 2:38 to 5:38 p.m. with sunrise at 6:11. Sunset 8:26. This has been your Daiwa Samurai Braid. Best times to fish.
When was the last time you went night fishing?
It's been a while. Actually thinking about going the next couple of nights.
I'm just, I haven't been in years and years and years.
Yeah, it's been years for me.
And I've been thinking, that
Me and him went the last time I went.
You and Eccles or you and Randy?
Randy.
Okay. When you set out to night fish,
I wouldn't do nothing at night with Eccles.
when you set out to night fish, do you approach it the same way as if you were day fishing? I mean, because your lure selection is probably not going to be near. I mean, you're going to throw a spinnerbait, a buzzbait, maybe a big worm, something like that, and really you don't need that many rods.
No, 3 rods.
Would you go exclusive braid at night, or do you think it matters?
Now that you bring that up, I hadn't thought about that because back then didn't have braid out yet.
Right.
So it's been how long it's been since I've been night fishing. Yeah. You could do braid at night.
You
can't see the reaction bite a lot of times, so you're going to have it delay anyway. It's not like you would jerk it out of its mouth if it's a buzzbait. You're probably not going to see the bite that much. So
now you're going to be able to answer another question for me here. You've got anchor lights and navigation lights on your boat. Okay? You're night fishing. You're not really anchored.
Yeah.
I mean, you're fishing. Do you have to have any lights on the boat while you're fishing?
I think you have to have your rear light on.
Okay.
The front lights, I think.
So that's the anchor light.
The anchor light. I think that one has to be on.
Okay, so you keep that one on all night long.
I think so.
While you're fishing.
But
the navigation lights you can turn on.
But I think that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think your navigation, if you're not motoring and running, you can turn your front navigation lights off. The newer boats like the Ranger, I don't know if you're.
Mine's got the Triton's got the built-in.
On the side?
On the sides, yeah.
Mine too. So.
Yeah.
And that is a little different. And I didn't think about that much until my last takeoff at my last tournament. We went out really early, and Sam Rayburn.
And you're like, oh, I forgot to put my front lights in, my bow light.
No. Somebody was coming at me from another boat ramp.
Yeah.
And I could see one light on one side, but I couldn't see the green one. And I thought, okay, now is he coming at me?
That's been the biggest issue. That's why there's a lot of them. You and I were talking about this last year. There's a lot of places in Texas are saying now, no, they still want a bow light on there.
The deal is, and now that I look at it, and
the placement.
This one, the placement.
Right.
People that are putting these in their boats themselves are putting them too far to the front.
Yeah.
They want them farther back. There's a reason why they don't want you to see in the green and the red at the same time.
Right.
Because then you can't tell really which direction is he going. But when you just see the red, and you can't see the green, you're looking at
port or star?
Port side.
Yeah.
I don't know. Port or star, whatever one it is. You're looking at one side of the boat or the other.
Yeah.
So I can see where the red and green too far to the front could create a problem.
Yeah.
But
now I will say this: I noticed that my cousin Ray had one of these, and Pete's got one on the end of your Minn Kota bracket.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Motor Guide's probably got the same thing. But on the end of that Minn Kota bracket, they make a light that goes into that. That's an electric light, and it's like a spotlight.
Like a headlight.
It's like a headlight.
Yeah.
You hit the switch on that thing, and you don't have to hold anything. And I mean it's built right in there into the bracket.
It fits in a trolling motor bracket.
It fits in your trolling motor bracket, and it's constantly dead ahead of you, and it's a pretty wide angle.
Yeah.
So, I know that, up on the river on Caddo, you could see the whole river.
Yeah.
And you never have to, nobody's having to hold a spotlight, no nothing. Totally hands-free operation. And I would suggest that for anybody that's going to be running before daylight, especially a tournament angler or somebody that plans to do a lot of night fishing.
Does Bayou carry that?
I guarantee if you call Pete Daniels, my fishing buddy,
for you.
Yes, if they don't have one there, he can get one in and install it for you, because obviously there's going to have to be some electrical work that's done there anyway.
Because where that would come in handy, now that I think about it, a lot of times that our takeoffs on the stuff that I'm fishing, like ABA or FLW, A lot of guys will launch at different ramps because they don't want to go to the crowded ramp where everybody's
And then come
launching.
over there,
And
too.
they idle around or run around the corner or around the point or half a mile up the lake they'll run.
Right.
That little headlight would come in really
Oh
handy.
man, let me tell you, it's the greatest little tool that you could imagine. Now, you know what? They might make one that's battery operated. I know that Peach actually runs off of the boat's electrical system.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a real little little keen thing to add to your boat as you're rigging it out.
Randy Fair just sent me a little text here. And one thing that, matter of fact, I don't know if we did it when me and him were fishing, a black light on the front of the boat
Yes.
comes in handy.
Yeah.
It'll also highlight your line, certain fishing lines. It will highlight that line. You can see your line better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to keep in mind. Possibly Saturday.
Okay.
Maybe. It depends on what my daughter has me doing at Ruston.
You got all those honeydews.
Yeah, I do. Well, this is the time of year I catch up on honeydews, actually.
One thing that I want to let our listeners know and our viewers that next week we're going to re-air this. Normally we re-air today's show on Saturday morning from 6 until 8 o'clock, which we will do again this week right here on the Tiger. This show will also air again because next week is July 4th. This show will air again at this time next Wednesday.
Also, real quick, I want to make an announcement. I talked to the ABA tournament, looking to fish at ABA Open Series, $5,000 first place guaranteed. It's this Saturday, 6:30, Lake of the Pines. There's a number you can call, 256-232-0406, or just call ABA, their ABA Open Series. Call the number. They'll get you registered for that event, but it's this weekend on Lake of the Pines. Also, Chris told me they've canceled the tournament series at Lake Conroe due to lack of participation. And for all you Arkansas anglers that listen to this show and you North Louisiana guys, they are moving and opening up a new circuit in Arkansas this next year. ABA will be having an open series event in Arkansas. So we were trying to get them to come back to Louisiana, but hey, they're going to move to Arkansas first, and we'll see what happens.
A couple of other things on the calendar you want to remember. This Saturday, midnight, your Louisiana hunting fishing license expires.
Yes.
You can take care of that online. I actually got mine online last night. It costs you $2 if you want to do it online.
Monday.
The only downside that I have seen to this, Graf and I were talking about this before the show, the only downside is if you're a deer hunter like I am, when you got to print out your deer tags, you just got little paper tags.
Yeah.
The ones that you get when you go into Walmart or wherever you might purchase your license, those are made out of a little more durable, like a plastic kind of a thing. But Graf suggested, you could get it laminated and do that. But it's going to be hard to cut that laminated deer tag and punch a hole in it to stick it on that deer's ear or leg or whatever.
The lamination I've always used is pretty thin.
Oh, it's pliable?
Yeah, it's pliable. Okay. Yeah, it should work.
Well, we are planning to draw down Lake Bistineau again this year. Now, I had heard July 1. Which would be this Sunday that they would start the drawdown. I can't testify that that's still a fact. Billy's thinking that it will be sometime in July. So if you are a normal Lake Bistineau fisherman, know that even though that the lake's prettier this year than we've seen it in years and years and years and years, they're trying to be proactive. They're going to go ahead and draw it down again and try to get some of that salvinia pulled out that might be in some of those areas that without the drawdown that it would continue to manifest itself.
They got a big championship tournament this fall on Caddo Lake. Last year was there. He said salvinia was incredible. This year, have you been to Caddo lately?
Was on Caddo Saturday. And beautiful.
It looks great.
Beautiful.
So not major issues with salvinia at this time.
Beautiful.
Well, that's good news, man.
Pads are in really good shape. Hydrilla, and that you really want to slow down and pay attention.
You get off Boat Road on Caddo, you better be idling.
Exactly. Yeah. So just keep that in mind if you're planning to spend any time, especially with the 4th of July coming up.
Right. And we hope everybody has a great 4th of July.
Take us home, Brother Graf.
All right. As a parent who is experiencing the empty nest syndrome, I just want to remind all mom and dads, now that summer vacation is here, please take the time to do things with your kids. As a child growing up, we never took a family vacation. Now that I'm older and wiser, I see the importance of spending family time with your kids while they're at home. The problem is